Welcome to the Healthy Perspective Podcast with your host, chiropractor, entrepreneur, mentor, and author, Dr. Chris Bowman. He'll break down and extract the secret sauce behind his own success and the success of some of the top leaders in every category and from around the world. Get ready for your weekly mental adjustment because shift is going to happen.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us on the Healthy Perspective podcast once again. Today, we have the privilege of having Mark Blackwell join us. He's the first American national motocross champion who went back to school to earn bachelor's and master's degrees and still studies at Kellogg School of Management. Mark has run race teams, business units for multi-billion-dollar companies, and today runs his own consulting business. He loves learning and working with great people. Mark, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for letting me join you.
Yeah, it's an honor to have you on. You know, a little backstory with Mark. We met through a mutual friend, and when I told him I was trying to get my BMW M3, he told me all these stories of, you know, the M5s and racing and whatnot. So he was definitely an encouragement to me. And when we finally got it, it was definitely a highlight of my life, going and showing him, you know, this is the dream, and here it is. So I really appreciate the wisdom and encouragement you spoke into my life.
Awesome. Great to be with you.
All right. So we have two questions that we always like to answer on this podcast. And Mark, being a business coach, you know, being at the highest level that you can go, billion-dollar companies, what is your selfless purpose that you continue to study, that you continue to consult, even though you're at a time where you could probably just retire and go on the golf course every day? Not that you don't do that, but what is your what's your niche? What do you love about your job that you know is changing the world?
Well, I don't know if changing the world, that might be bigger than either of us, but trying to have some impact, right, on the sphere of people you deal with. I think for me, it's learning and growing and helping others. And like, I consult, you know, I'm 68 years old now, but I consult. I don't have to work, as you said, but I love the work. I love to be around smart people, young people, people that are learning. And I'm kind of at a point in my career where, you know, they kind of look at me and go, how did you know that was going to happen? Well, because I'm an old guy and I've seen that movie like 25 times before, right? But I can't I can't make my, you know, my Instagram account work. Could you help me with that? So it's the kind of yin and yang of, you know, experienced people and new people that are learning. And the speed at which we're learning nowadays is so fast, right? If you can be around others that can teach you, then you continue to grow and have purpose, right?
Yeah, that's good. And, you know, it reminds me of an interview that I did not too long ago. And he is knee deep in e-commerce. I mean, millions of dollars of years of money of ad spend and whatnot. And I'm like, so what drives you to sell products online? Because it's normally kind of a viewed as a slimy type of thing. You buy something from China or, you know, India and then sell it for a profit. And he's like, you know what? I'm about opening access to those people, you know, in India that need to sell turmeric rather than pineapples, or coffee and no one heard about it. Like, so the education, exposure, and access is what's most important. And I love that you say that, because you're right. The more that we can collectively grow, you know, as a universe, as humanity, instead of one person fighting for a bigger slice of the same size pie, we make the pie bigger, and all of us, you know, are benefiting.
Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thanks, Mark. And then on the flip side of the coin, I always like to know, I feel like it's more of a personal question of you know, the people that I'm interviewing. What is your selfish why? Meaning, when you do this work, you know, when you finish consulting for this big project that you've been consulting with, I think since I've known you, what's going to be something that a reminder of, like, man, this work is worth it. It's hard sometimes, it's emotional sometimes, really, and I know I'm doing it for a bigger purpose. But what's in it for you?
I would say that not too far from where you sit, in the next 16 months, we're going to build a new headquarters for my major client. And I've been working on it 2.5 years, and it's been really hard. Like, building stuff in California is hard. and not just California, but all the government agencies and all the things you have to go through. But now we're getting traction. Like next month, we're going to break ground. We're going to start grading. And in October, we're going to start tilting this building up. And a little over a year from now, people will be thriving in that new corporate headquarters for North America. And I mean, if you think of 16 months from now to look at that and go, man, we did this. See everyone thriving. That's one example. So I think when you work really, really hard, good things happen. And when you get accomplishment, if you just step back for a moment and look at them and just cherish that and say, wow, it was worth all the work.
Yeah, that's good. And it's interesting kind of putting your questions together is like the overall greater purpose of why you continue going is you don't want to feel stagnant. You want to keep going because if you get stagnant, that enables somebody else to get stagnant, which eventually culture is going to start fighting itself if it doesn't have a purpose. And then the selfish why that you talked about, your goal is to get perspective. Like you accomplish something, and I'm sure when you accomplish this, it's not going to be like, all right, the big project's done, like let's be done. It's like, oh, but that would be really cool if we had that there, or that would be really cool if we had, you know what I mean? It's this constant strive for how can we view life through a different lens, and I love that. I think that's so helpful, especially for people that may have, there's gonna be a lot of people on here that listen that have a product, grow it at scale, sell it, they have millions of dollars in their bank account, and they're like, now what? And it's like, well, what if this product actually had this? And there's a continual growth. What's that?
They might feel empty.
Exactly.
Which is really sad, right? So how do you continue to grow and prosper internally? And I think it's always helping other people, right? Helping teams of people. I think that's the most rewarding, is to watch teams grow, watch people develop, and mentorship. Now, I said that to you in a note I sent recently. I didn't really understand mentorship when I was younger. I never heard the term. Now it's very commonly used. But mentorship is, it's amazing. If you understand it and can reach out and people respect you enough to give you mentorship, it's priceless, absolutely priceless. You could have all the degrees on the planet from the best schools, but if you have really good mentors that care about you and help you, it's the best.
Yeah, I agree. And we didn't talk about this question beforehand, so I'll give you some time to think about it if you need. But I think beyond the questions that we talked about for purpose and for why, what propels you to go, I feel like, is you've downloaded or you've trained yourself how to have vision, right? Which means that you're thinking beyond this project. Like you already see this building tilted up. You already see this thing completed, which enables you to think, to the next thing. Like how do you learn how to do that? Because I know I've had experiences where I wanted to be a chiropractor. It was a 15-year dream. I graduated, and then I was like, now what? How do you continue to build vision, something that continually almost gets further away, like that island, right? So, and you're on the boat, seems like it doesn't get any closer. How do you continue to see big like that?
That's a big question, Chris. Really big. I don't know why. What I know is that successful people are successful because they do just what you said. They have a very clear idea of what they want, and they think about it. And I'm sure even when they're sleeping, their mind is working. You know more about that than I do, but like you're constantly working towards that vision. And mine is a little bit less specific today. It was very specific when I was younger. I want to accomplish these things. Today, I think it's more about, quality of life, love of family, relationships. And you talked before about do the right thing. Like if you just do the right thing all the time, if you don't seek that specific item or goal, but you just do the right thing, everything seems to come to you. It does. Like people want the M3, and they work really hard to get the M3, but if they just do the right thing, the M3 comes to them. It comes to them.
Right.
I really believe that.
Yeah, that's good. And that's a good way to reverse engineer goal setting, because some people, it's like, I want to work, I have everything that I want. If I don't want anything, can I still go? It's like, like the goals and rewards can self-propel themselves for a time. Like, it doesn't have to be, there's something specific. And I think that's really helpful advice, especially for young people out there thinking about starting the entrepreneurship journey, where it's like, maybe your goal is your first $100 and you haven't found anything beyond that. You just want to see if you can do it, earn money on your own. And that's okay. Like you said, if you keep doing the right thing, that $100 will multiply to 1,000, to 10,000, it's 100,000.
There's one little teeny short story example I'll give you that hopefully ties that all together. Is in my career, I've worked with lots of really good people and some not so good people. And what I noticed is that there's certain people that they always focus on their next job. They're always trying to get promoted. And when I look back on those people that I knew, they ended up not doing so well. Versus if you focus every day on just doing the best job, you get promoted. You get, I never went looking for a job. The jobs came to me. And that's because I tried to just crush it in every job I did. Just super perform, build the team, take care of the people, and then the jobs come to you. I don't know if that makes sense, but versus like, I want to be the vice president of this or that. And they're like trying to politically maneuver. And I think it's just back to do the right thing, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think the main difference I would think between those two people is the one that's always seeking to get promoted and always wanting, they're only in it for the selfish why. They're only in it what's in it for them. Versus if you have both pieces, like, I'm here to change the world. I know there's going to be good things that come out of a 6 or 7 figure salary, but my goal is not that. Like, that's a side effect, so to speak, of the bigger thing that I'm trying to accomplish here. And I think that's what you're saying, right? It's like, if you continue to do the right thing for the right reasons with the right people, you can't help but have a good life.
Yeah, exactly. And a very wise man once said to me, I might screw it up, but it's something like, you really can't make a bad deal with good people, but you really can't make a good deal with bad people. So be around the right people. Same thing. And everything just, it just comes.
I love that. Well, thanks so much, Mark, for your time. I know you're super busy with this, building headquarters project as a consultant. Are you taking new clients now? Do you want people to reach out if they have any questions? How do people get in contact with you if they're interested?
So my website is my name, markblackwell.com. And I pretty full right now, to be honest, but always want to help. So if there's somebody that doesn't need too much time and I can kind of weigh in and quickly help them, I'm always willing to try to do that. So
awesome. Thank you so much, Mark. It was a pleasure. I know this is going to be helpful to so many people. And that's what's cool. If we can do this once, and for a year, 2, 10, 20 years, this will continue to inspire and help people. So I'm excited about that.
Thanks, Dr. Chris.
Thank you for listening to the Healthy Perspective Podcast. To connect with Dr. Bowman, follow him on Instagram @Dr. Chris Bowman. Until next time, make shift happen.